We have risen from the ashes to school the masses, and hopefully you're not choking like me. I'm our man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, as always, is the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. He is the one and only Scholar Tark. Scholar Tark, how are we feeling tonight? And hopefully you're not dying.
Oh, well, technically we are all dying. It's just a matter of when that moment happens.
You're not
But we're
dying
not at that
quickly.
moment. We're not at that moment now because right now we are at the Schollies, baby. We're in 2026. Happy New Year, everybody. 2026. And what's the first thing we're gonna do in 2026? Let's talk about 2025, shall we? Let's go ahead. It is the Scholly Awards. I actually lost track of what number Schollies we are on this one, but I don't give a shit. It's still the Schollies. We're going to look back on the best, the worst, and in between stuff, both good. Yeah, yeah, sure, why not? It's the Schollies. We're going to look at all things wrestling. We're going to talk about all the stuff we liked, all the stuff we hated, all the stuff that just made us go, what?
Indeed. That is what we're going to be talking about. It is Scholarly's time, but first, we got some introductions to do. Continuing on with your current reigning Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, he is another undisputed scholar. He is Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, are you ready for some Schollies, sir?
I am indeed. It feels kind of like deja vu from last year, seeing as I'm in the exact same spot as I was at this moment in time last year, leading into the Royal Rumble as your reigning undisputed
No, you,
scholar.
you've defended. You've defended.
Yes,
I got your
yes.
back.
The wheel will tell you that I defended. But
Oh,
you
the
know,
wheel.
it's just getting ready to defend what the fact that one of us, as we always do, end up Scholar of the Year. So it feels pretty good this year because the person who normally challenges us for that title started a little bit late this year. So we didn't really have to worry about it. So yeah, really looking forward to this Scholly Awards in my sweater compared to your suit jackets because I'm like that. I just roll like that.
Team sweatshirt, yeah.
Speaking of team sweatshirts, also joining us tonight, you heard from him just now. He is the one and only Scholar Charlie. Scholar Charlie, how many cups of coffee are you on, sir?
I'm on one long nap, so I'm
Close
pre-gamed.
enough.
I'm good. I'm ready to go. Um, yes, I started late this year, but I'm gonna get on my giddy up and give you guys a challenge in 2026.
That's
You
the
sure this time?
spirit. And
Same
also,
argument last year. Started off great, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna disappear for a while and just screw everything up
hey,
for this year for you, Charlie."
life gets to the better of us all. We have all been there. But last, but certainly not least, you know him, you love him. His neck is brittle like tissue paper. He is the one and only, the ever effervescent Scholar Pete. Scholar Pete, how's the neck feeling, sir?
As I live it. Goodness gracious, let me tell you
Oh
something.
boy.
Scholar fans, did you see that Scholar Charlie has not even acknowledged what he did to me? We kicked off 2026. The Schollies. I couldn't miss you guys. You couldn't miss me. Where would our time be? Where would the general manager of Collision be? Let me tell you something. I came through hell and high water, and all I wanted was for Scholar Charlie to reach down and just be like, Scholar Pete, we may have had a feud, but yes, it was me. It was me all along. I broke your neck, but I'm like freaking Angle. I'm gonna win the undisputed Scholar Award with a broken freaking neck. Back to you, Jeffrey.
That's
I
the
can't
Pete
tell if
I
that's the
know.
lighting. I can't tell if that's the lighting or it's just Pete is just getting really intense, but because God, he is just glowing red
Why
You
right
is
are
now.
Pete
red,
He
red?
looks
bro.
like Chris
Yeah.
Farley. He looks like Chris Farley in Billy Madison. I'll ruin your precious field trip.
The man has not apologized to me. I'm sitting here with a broken neck, people, and the man will not apologize. How do you expect me to feel?
Because I expect you to feel that way because you are a man who follows the three I's: intensity, integrity, and intensity. That's the way we live our lives because we are the scholars of wrestling. And, well, we're about to school you right now because this is the 2025 Scholly Awards. Like Scholar Tarek said, we're going to be looking at the best, the worst, and everything in between, and our predictions for much more than that. So join us, won't you? Because we're diving into the Scholly Awards 2025. And I guess we're going to be going in the usual champion first order, unless you want to defer to the top of the order, Scholar Brian.
There will
Well,
be no deferment here this evening. No, sir.
very well. In that case, the first award will be for Male Wrestler of the Year. And Scholar Brian, you're giving your pick up for first. Who do you have for Best Male Wrestler of the Year?
If you had asked me at the end of February who would have had the easiest shot in the world to be Wrestler of the Year this year, I would have told you straight up, straight faced John Cena. However, that little 6 month period in between up until SummerSlam made it very easy for me to switch gears and go with Hangman Adam Page for Wrestler of the Year. He's got a bunch of awards for me on this list, and basically, all right, he's had a bunch of Match of the Year candidates. He is the one solely able to say that he vanquished John Moxley and the Death Riders hold on the title. We won't talk about Samoa Joe being the one to take the title from him after a 3 month period. That's a failure on the AEW booking side of everything. But I think as a whole, for the year, based on everything he did, it's a very easy choice for me to pick Hangman Adam Page.
Hmm. Yeah, that's very interesting that you say it, or at least put it that way, because I was thinking about it. Again, I thought about Hangman Adam Page for you, for all the reasons you said, but eventually I just looked at the year as a whole, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but my pick for male wrestler of the year is John Cena. Sure, a lot of his feuds and a lot of his storylines were stop-starty or just fell flat. But in terms of the individual matches and moments and the execution and the things we did get, he didn't have a lot of the storylines and thoroughputs that should have been there. But when in a vacuum, with his matches, his moments, and the body of work he put together in his last active year as a wrestler, I would argue that could stand up with anyone's work this year. Yes, he had the added benefit of, yeah, he had to probably had a lot more creative freedom going into this last year. He had the value of it's John Cena's last active year. But in a vacuum, this is going to be the one and only time, probably the last time, I'm going to give credit where it's due. I have no choice but to give John Cena my vote for male wrestler of the year. Charlie, it's over to you next. Who's your pick?
Seconded that for all the reasons above. John Cena.
All right. Short, sweet, and to the point. Pete, it's over to you. Who is your pick for best male wrestler of the year?
This isn't my first Scholly Award, so we're gonna hit this off with a bang, gentlemen, because I'm going to explain to you why Dirty Dom Mysterio is my wrestler of the year. I I mean, where he's come from and the character that he's built, so much so that he went to AAA. He's getting cheered in other promotions like a face, playing up a fantastic heel, the likes of Eddie Guerrero. You have Liv Morgan missing out where people were talking, oh, is Dom good without Liv? And beautifully interject back in. I feel like Dom is just he just had a great year. I mean, he got to work with John Cena. He's the last wrestler to pin John Cena. I mean, what a merit to that. Yes, we have Gunther, which we all have a feeling who's going to be coming up. But we have Gunther who, made John Cena tap out. People don't know that Dom Mysterio made him he pinned him. Last person to pin him. I think Dom had an incredible year. I'm looking forward to what he's doing, but from I think January to December, he just killed it for me. And without a question, it's 30 Dom for me.
All right. And last but not least, Scholar Tarek, who's your pick for best male wrestler of the year?
I think you're too quick to make the judgment on that, Pete, because as much as I love Gunther, I don't think he is Scholar of the Year. When I look back at this past year, it honestly just makes me look back on our previous discussion on our Mount Rushmore of wrestling. And I look at it as someone who has gotten me invested in the character that he presented throughout the entire year and the journey he had from basically a man who was just completely broken and angry and taking people out, burning down people's houses, and ending the career of Christopher Daniels to the point where he realized maybe I have a problem here, which led to a redemption arc that was Cody Rhodes' level of restoring the soul of AEW, and I'm going to give my award for Scholar of the Year to Hangman Adam Page. I look, I just can't look back on any other wrestler in WWE or AEW that got me more invested on their character arc and on their redemption arc than Hangman Adam Page. And I understand your feelings of how his title reign was too short, Brian, but under the circumstances, I wasn't a big fan of it either, but I also didn't hate it. I didn't think it gained like lost any points on it. I still was just heavily invested. And then, oh, excuse me, I look at his promo that he did before at World's End. Um, and it just made me realize just yeah, he is right the main character of AEW. He is the number one babyface. And he just as I put, he was Cody Rhodes level when Cody Rhodes was the superstar last year when he won his world title against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. What happened here at All In was that level of me feeling just super excited to be a wrestling fan. And I just now cannot wait to see what more he'll bring for 2026. Whether we have him winning the title against MJF in the future or whenever that's going to be, and we'll eventually get that one-on-one match of rivals that turn, I guess, just I won't say friends, but just people that respect each other against Swerve Strickland.
It's
I'm just
Goku and
super
Vegeta.
excited. It is
It,
Goku and Vegeta. That's actually a great way of putting it. And I just can't wait to see what more he can do and get to keep me going and just where I'm just loving where he's going right now.
all right. Awesome, awesome spread of opinions right out of the gate. I'm digging it. That will bring us to our next category, which is Best Female Wrestler of the Year. And it looks like it's my pick up first, and I'll be right up front with you. I'm going to go in a slightly unorthodox direction. I had to really think about this. And then I just had a notion of someone who just had a really, really strong year and someone who just made the most of every opportunity she was given. And again, I'm I'd be shocked if anyone agree with this take, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I'm going to go with Sol Ruka. She has had a lot of opportunities. She's knocked them all out of the park. She's noticeably gotten progressively better. She got a showcase on John Cena's final wrestling show, which tells me a lot about how much confidence that they've gotten her for the time for the long run. She even got a pinfall victory over Bailey on the show, and she looked like $1 million and still does. So I think the future is bright for her. There were a lot of women who had some really absolute bangers of matches this year, but I feel like very few have had the rapid and consistent success that Sol Ruka has. So I'm going to go with her for my pick for Female Wrestler of the Year. Charlie, it's over to you. Who's your pick for Best Female Wrestler of the Year?
It's so weird because your whole lead up right there could have gone with who I'm choosing to pick tonight. Um, she started off the year with championships and she's ending the year with the championship. Won championships in between, and I've said it many times. This is the year of Vakir. Stephanie Vakir is my women's wrestler of the year. She's done everything under the sun and is still impressing despite her silly moves. Um, she deserves female superstar of the year in my eyes.
I had a feeling she would be in there in the whole conversation. Absolutely. Scar Pete, it's over to you. Who's your pick for Women's Wrestler of the Year?
Now, I have to be honest with you, gentlemen. I do have a pick, but I feel like you are going to call shenanigans because my original pick was, of course, the greatest woman of all time, AJ Lee. But I'll give you one better because I will give you who I despise the most as your
Oh
woman
boy.
wrestler of the year. Because let's talk about the accolades. She broke the Ultimo Dragon's title hold. She's held more titles than the legendary Ultimo Dragon. Let me tell you what else this woman has done. She has just sold out arenas. She has wrestled in the Tokyo Dome. She has wrestled in Madison Square Garden. She is my woman wrestler of the year, and her name is Mercedes Monet. 2026, y'all.
I love the wind up and the pitch. I love it every single time. Tarek,
Don't encourage him.
we already have that. We've reached a point of no return, and you know it.
Oh boy.
Scholar Tarek, it's your pick up next. Women's Wrestler of the Year. Who do you got?
Just to kind of piggyback on what Pete said, when he was saying like, oh, uh, from oh God, what was the first one to Madison Square Garden? And I
Tokyo
just
Dome.
was like, from the Tokyo Dome to I'm like, wait, I don't think she wrestled in Madison Square Garden this year. I was good. I was thinking it's like from to the Tokyo Dome to small bingo halls, considering she has titles of like small indie promotions. I thought that's where you were going because to be fair, that's something actually that is something kind of valuable of what Mercedes Monet accomplished this year. But now gone to my pick. She's not my women's wrestler of the year. My
Thank
women's
God.
wrestler. Shut up, Charlie.
If only
You said your
Jaybird was
piece.
here. If
You
only
said your
Jaybird
piece.
was
You
here.
shut your mouth. But I'm gonna go with someone who just had that just 1 year of just insane matches after insane matches to a point where she actually should have had her match be the final curtain call. And I'm gonna go with Timeless Tony Storm as my women's wrestler of the year. She won. It was just from that one match alone that basically solidified her spot for me this year. It was actually it was actually a toss between her and Io Sky for me. Uh, but in the end, again, that just having a match that should have ended that show, ended your show, especially with it just having a big the end with such a just absolutely insane bonkers of a match and just insane moments and just crazy and ending the year with her having some tango with Orange Cassidy, which I want to see more of. Yes, please. So I'm gonna go timeless Tony Storm to for Women's Wrestler of the Year for moi.
In my defense, I feel like I came very close because she did have a very, very strong and very entertaining year. But I feel like that to me, Timeless Tony Storm is almost like cheating. I feel like I picked her already last year, so I'm like, I gotta really look at this from another angle. But that's just me.
Hey, if she is willing to actually take another year in a row, then do it. Don't be like, oh, I did her or I already did her. I picked her already
Don't tell
last
my
year, so
wife.
keep. I picked her last year, so I'm not going to pick her. Don't go with that. It's like if she's had accolades that just earn her a spot, then go right ahead. That's not cheating at all.
In my defense, my legit logic was I got well, again, she had a very strong early year, and then it wasn't until the very end when she started doing the intergender stuff that really like caught my attention again. So there is a legitimate reason why I did not pick her this time around. But hey,
Hmm.
if she keeps going on with this stuff and keeps being entertaining as hell, she'll probably get it for 2026, unless someone does something crazy.
I want her to have a like love triangle with her Orange Cassidy and Marina.
We're probably going to get something amazing out of this, but hey, that's tomorrow's issue. For right now, we got to get Brian's pick for Women's Wrestler of the Year. What do you got?
Or Mina.
I,
Did I
I
say
think
Marina?
I
Mina.
actually
I know
I
what you
think
meant, yeah.
I think I psyched out Pete because I told him over messaging that he was going to hate my pick for Women's Wrestler of the Year. Well, you know what, Pete? I lied to you
It's not.
because this woman had a match of the year candidate, was match of the entire show of WrestleMania, actually beat Bianca Belair's WrestleMania undefeated streak, and had a stupendous 9 month run, and even at Survivor Series War Games, she did what she normally does in a War Games match and
She
made
did
that.
the thing.
And she did the thing and made that thing amazing on actual WWE TV instead of NXT TV. You know what? We're gonna have a 5-way difference, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm going Io Sky as my women's wrestler of the year
Hmm.
because the women of 2025 were so good that you forget the stuff that happened at the beginning of the year. Like I had to actually go back and remember what Tarek was talking about and realize, yeah, that happened in like January. that happened at the beginning of the year, as did the triple threat match, which I was legitimately thinking about putting as my match of the year
Mm.
because it was that good. But yeah, Io Sky.
Some very strong picks all around. I
Respect.
dig it. Absolutely. But now we're talking about the ones who got the most respect to the ones who deserved more. This next category is underused superstar of the year. Underused wrestler, superstar, whatever you want to use. Those people who, for whatever reason, just did not get the props or the treatment that we believe that they deserved. For this one, Charlie, it's your first pick up
Oh
next.
boy.
What's your pick for underused wrestler of the year?
That's why you should plan
Ah,
ahead, Charlie.
I know. Ah, can I press the skip button?
There is no skip button.
If you apologize for breaking my freaking neck,
Okay, I apologize for breaking Pete's fucking neck. Wink, wink.
The wink wink screws you over. You have to pick now.
Because at this point, if we give you a skip and if we give our choices, you're just gonna
Nope, no
cherry pick one of
skips.
our choices and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna agree with what he said." We know how you play the game.
If you
Okay.
feel
Okay.
okay,
Okay. Okay. I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this. I feel like we only taste tested Born in NXT in 2025.
Miles Bourne.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel like 2026 we're gonna see a lot more out of that young man. Him and Kyle Fletcher combined remind me of young Randy, young like 2000, early 2000s Randy Orton. So I enjoy watching both of them. I feel like we haven't seen enough of Miles Bourne though.
Okay, that's a solid pick. Pete, it's your pick up next. Who is your pick for underused wrestler of the year?
I know that you guys must be wondering who could Pete have as his underused wrestler of the year, but it shouldn't be a
Mercedes
surprise to
Monet.
you, gentlemen, because it's somebody. Would you say, Mr. Tarek?
I said Mercedes Monet. She's just
It's the Mercedes
underutilized.
Monet Awards.
Yo, let me tell you, there was a moment in time where I had a moment where I was like, how many Mercedes Monet will I put on this list? But I digress. Let's be real. I love this man. I've always been a cheerleader for him. I feel like he's still underused. I feel like just give him a title run once in 2026. You all know who I'm talking about. His name is L.A. Knight. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
honestly, I just feel like he 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 gets a massive pop. He's entertaining to watch. Like, and there was an interview with DDP, and he goes, when did you win the world title? And he goes, when I was 40. And he goes, well, LA Knight is 40. And I'm like, you know what? It's I see so many similarities in just how they've become characters between DDP and LA Knight. Yeah. But I
yeah,
really feel like WWE always underutilizes him, and it just infuriates me. And I said it since the beginning in January, where I will still beat that drum for this man because I want to just see. I'm not saying a long thing. Give me a summer. Give me a summer title run. Give me something that show like, hey, we appreciate you. It's why I said to you guys in the last time is now tournament, how many people were surprised that he made it as far as he did? Because everybody's like, no, but the man still deliver. And I just hope in 2026 they just use him more. Thank you for coming to my LA Night TED Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, with that, next pick goes to you, Scholar Tarek. Who is your pick for underused superstar of the year?
it's actually really funny because I look at this name that I put on my list, and you guys are gonna be like, "Wait, why is he?" Because my choice is actually a very unorthodox choice. Because this is someone who they gave him such a big spot to show that he is the future. And due to unfortunate circumstances, they gave him one of the big spots of the year, but then chose to not take advantage of it, to basically have him as basically the message to us is like us the audience is, oh, you want him, but we don't think he's ready yet. And I now feel like they are actually and when they actually are giving him that moment of like, oh yeah, he's going to be the main star, we're going to take the attention away from him and focus on something else and kind of take his momentum away. And hopefully now with how they're going to have him go for the world title on the 1 year anniversary on the Netflix Raw, I'm going to go with Braun Breaker. And like I
Hmm.
said, it's very unorthodox, yes, but once Seth Rollins got injured and they had him do that angle where he had the vision turn on Seth, that should have been the moment where he should have skyrocketed to the moon. They should have put that rocket on his back and just shot him straight. They could have, if they were going to take have him hand over the title because he's not champion, they should have had him win that number one contender tournament and just given him the championship because he was basically like iron skillet hot. He was like, all right, he's ready, take him off. But they decided to have him for multiple weeks tell Paul Heyman, well, I don't think I'm ready yet. I still have a lot to learn. And that I just looked at that as just basically them saying, "Oh, you're he has this momentum. He has the crowd behind him, but we don't think he's ready yet for a world title." Even though all the stars are aligning saying otherwise. So now now with this one, and you have him doing these promos, but instead we're going to focus on LA Knight and have Bronson Reed and Logan Paul take complete focus away from him. So I just feel like, okay, well, why are you taking the time away from him? Taking the attention from the audience because instead of having him still cut the promo in the ring, all the people are looking at the Titantron of what Bronson Reed and Logan Paul are doing to LA Knight. So that's good stuff. But why are you doing it at the cost of Braun Breaker's momentum, who is still putting on amazing promos? So now with this year, he's going for a world title, and in my opinion, he should win it. Start 2026 crazy by having this young, hungry talent win the win the world heavyweight championship. Make up for that moments of Braun Breaker. I have a lot to learn. I don't think you got to think smart about this. You got to think about it. You got to think smarter and all that. So again, unorthodox, but I was just looking at these moments and it'd be like, don't try and tell us that you don't think he's ready when he's proven to be that in that spot already.
All right. I definitely see the logic there. Uh, Brian, it's over to you next. Who's your pick for underused wrestler of the year?
Okay, first of all, Scholly, I don't think it's crazy talk to think that Braun Breaker's going to win the championship on the 5th. I think that's the obvious move that they should go for, and I think that's what they're leaning towards.
I
Uh,
jinxed it now,
so
Brian.
so let me see if I get this straight. We have a guy who was in the NXT title picture. We have a guy who was just in the finals of the tournament to see who gets to take on John Cena. And we have a guy who's most likely going to win the title on January 5th. I'm going for a guy who you probably didn't realize switched companies this year because, hey, he's never been on TV. I don't even think, maybe once. Hey, Ray Phoenix, where you at, bro?
It's so true.
If you want to talk about underutilized and underused, the Mexican luchador who jumped companies at the beginning of this year to only be used once. And you can't say it's because Penta got injured because they were on different shows. So, yeah. So, yeah, Ray Phoenix, where you at, bro? Talk about underutilized. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I know you and I were talking about this. I'm like, we both were like, first I even mentioned his name, and you're just like, yeah, totally forgot about him. And then we started talking. I'm like, I totally forgot even that Ray Phoenix was even on WrestleMania, but only in a fill-in spot because someone got injured. So it's like even WWE doesn't really know what to do with this guy. However, having said that, my pick is actually a tie between Ray Phoenix and another person who seemed like they've got the moon and the stars behind them, but they just fall flat on the main roster. For me, it's a tie between Ray Phoenix and Julia. She came in with all this pomp and circumstance, And now they brought her up to the big roster because she's ready, brother. And what else has she done? Her entire run has been completely forgettable. Or they just have not utilized her. Like there's so much, and they're not the only names here. You can look at a lot of names who either got signed, came up from the Indies, or got signed from AEW, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, and they just get used very, very minimally. Like I'm going to make an early prediction here. I'm guessing that 2026 is going to be the year when the tide changes, where a lot of people say, "Oh, hey, if the just because WWE is ready to sign you doesn't mean they're going to use you to your maximum effectiveness." The 2026 is going to be the year when a lot more names are going to think twice about getting scooped up by WWE and might go, you know what? Even if WWE does technically give me more money, I can still do a lot. That doesn't guarantee that I'm going to be used effectively. I might just be able to do a lot more with AEW and vice versa. But yeah, I cannot forget about the people who will possibly start that trend or that perception. I am going to go with both Julia and Ray Phoenix because it's a tie in my eyes. But that is just my opinion. But we got more to talk about. Our next category is Breakout Star of the Year. Someone who just took their game to a new level, or maybe just an up and coming name that's really caught our attention. Scholar Pete, it's your pick up first. Who are you picking for your Breakout Star of 2025?
It's funny, Scholar Jeff. Over the holidays, I was sitting in Winnipeg, and I was going over my favorite breakout star of the year. And I feel like on our illustrious panel, we'll all agree, or at least I feel a few of us will definitely be saying that Kyle Fletcher is the breakout superstar of the year. Because hello, let's talk about this man's year. You had a exceptional feud with Will Ospreay. You made the TNT title relevant by having great matches with old ass Dustin Rhodes and Mark Briscoe. Like the kid has just been killing it. The Aussie has been he you let me tell you something, gentlemen. I may be your AEW Collision World Champion, but I obviously tend to garner my love more towards to WWE and watching their programming more than AEW. So when you guys brought up good old Kyle this year, I was like, oh, sounds like a Darby Allin situation where he's gonna go to Mount Everest, but nothing's ever gonna happen. But no, this guy with these matches, these moments, it's a no brainer for me that breakout superstar is Kyle Fletcher.
All right. Scholar Tark, back to you. Who you got?
Honestly, Pete, you just basically took the words out of my mouth. My breakout star of the year is, as Charlie put it earlier, an Randy Orton style of breakout star. I'm going with Kyle Fletcher as my breakout star of the year. He has just had a phenomenal year, a phenomenal series of matches. He was still even the breakout star of the C2 this year. And it is just inevitable that he is going to be in the world title picture. And when that day comes, I'm looking forward to when it finally happens.
All right. That's two for two. Scholar Brian, who's your pick for Breakout Star of the Year?
You see, there's a problem because I can't go 3 for 3 because I was ahead of the game and I gave him breakout star of the year last year. So, so in honor of that, I'm gonna go across. I'm gonna go across the way. I'm gonna go to NXT and just say, "Hey, Javon Evans, what's up, brother?" Javon Evans has shown throughout the last year that he is going to be at the. He's very young, 24. I expect that he's going to be, if they use him correctly, he could be at the top of of the conversation in the actual WWE in the next couple years. From what I've seen, he's got, other than Obafemi, he's the one who's got the most upside in NXT. And yes, that includes Trick Williams. I think that Javon Evans is better. So I'm gonna go with breakout star of the year only because I already used Kyle Fletcher. Because if I hadn't, I'm not gonna say it twice. I'm not gonna say breakout star of the year twice, Tarek. I saw your face. So breakout
It's a
star of the
nice
year is
excuse.
different from women's wrestler of the year. You can't break out 2 years in a row.
I
So
see your logic.
I'm
Sure you
gonna go
can.
with Javon Evans.
I see your logic, Brian. And honestly, I was going to go initially with Javon Evans as well. He's had a very, very good year. But then a bunch of us went to Full Gear, and I saw Kyle Fletcher get all good and bloody and with Mark Briscoe and a strong contender for match of the night. And to me, that was like, that took it up a level in my eyes. I still have a weakness for a good old fashioned death match. That's just because I'm a sicko like that. But but even then, like I looked back after that match and I saw the kinds of other matches he had that year. And I've seen him in other interviews where he just seems like he's matured and he's become a lot more polished. So I was like, yeah, I'm getting it now. I'm on the Kyle Fletcher train now, and he's gonna be my pick for breakout star of the year.
That match he had with Mark Briscoe was his Randy Orton Mick Foley match.
That was his Randy Orton McFoley. That was his Swerve Hangman moment. It's just give me a
Like
good bloody death match and you win my heart.
it's like I swear I was the only one who saw this in it last year.
You're ahead of the curve, Brian. What can we say? But right now, I care about what Scholar Charlie has to say. Who's your breakout star of the year?
Well, that's obvious.
with
Come on.
Tarek's last comment with the Mick Foley Randy Orton thing, there is nothing left to say other than Kyle fucking Fletcher.
There
Yeah.
you go. No,
Now
no argument for me.
I kind of wish I didn't say Kyle Fletcher last year because I could have gone 5 for 5. But no,
No, Brian, next year, all of us are going to say Javon Evans, and we're going to have the exact same conversation next year that we had this year, but just with Javon Evans instead of Kyle Fletcher. It's like
exactly.
you're just one
I'm like,
ahead of the curve.
this is the one. I think this is the one award that is skewing what Tarek said earlier. Like if someone has the best year 2 years in a row, you can say their name twice in a row. I think in my bones you can't break out 2 years in a row. Once you broke out, you already broke out. That's it. So it's
That's
like
it's depending on how you look at it when it comes to breaking out. He broke out of the thought of people only look at him as the tag team guy. This is now the breakout of him being a single star.
well, because
When
the
it comes to
issue
breakout this year, it is the breakout of like this guy is more than just another singles competitor. This guy
well
has the breakouts to be a main eventer.
the
And that's
issue
how
is
I
the issue is last year he was a singles competitor too. He made it to the second. Now, obviously, it's because Mark Davis got injured, so that sucks. He, but at that point, it was still last year, and they had him do the C2, and he made it to the semifinals, and he was doing the same stuff. And I was like, this guy's broken out. This guy, in my eyes, is there. And it's like all he did this year was confirm what I already knew last year. So it's like, yeah, I don't need to pick Kyle Fletcher again because he confirmed what I already knew.
To be fair, with a lot of these categories, it really depends on what your personal criteria is and how
Yeah.
you sort of like spell it out. I definitely see, Tarek, what you're saying, where again, that's sort of why I was leading to with my introduction there, where I was like, you can kind of look at this a bunch of different ways. If a rookie could be really establishing themselves, or someone who's been around for a while just really steps up their game in a really significant way. there's a lot of different ways you can look at this particular topic, and just seeing everyone's answers, it's why I love this. Like, even when we do come close to a consensus, which I don't think, frankly, I'm not sure we're going to get for the rest of the night. But again, just hearing what your perspective is and just seeing your criteria and what qualifies things in your eyes, I think it actually absolutely adds up. But speaking of adding up, those are our predictions for Breakout Star, or selections rather. Too many predictions, excuse me.
All
First,
good.
next up are selections for Tag Team of the Year. And Scholar Tarek, it's your pick up first. Who's your pick for Tag Team of the Year?
It's actually really funny because I was just looking at like the already established tag teams, and there were plenty of good ones, but none of them really just caught my attention and kept it. And then you have these two single guys get put together, and they are like, holy shit. Not only can these guys work as single stars, but they are just an incredible tag team unit, and which gained them the tag team championships, and they had it for quite a while. I'm gonna go with Brodito as my tag team of the year because I look back on just all of their matches, and I'm thinking I haven't found one where I'm just like, okay, these two are just two singles guys were just thrown together. No, these guys just are two guys, two separate guys that came together and became one strong unit and strong worthy tag team champions. And with that, I gotta pick Brodito. I loved every single one of their matches they had this year, and it's kind of a shame that they're now somewhat split up because now we got Bandito in line for a world title shot. But I'm just super excited. I loved Brodito as a tag team, and they took my top spot at tag team for 2025.
All right, great stuff. Scholar Brian, it's back to you. Who's your Tag Team of the Year?
I find it funny in the last segment that you said you didn't feel like there was going to be a whole lot of consensus the throughout the rest of the show because immediately afterwards, Tarek basically took the words right out of my mouth. The most fun tag team this year, considering it should have never been a tag team because it wasn't supposed to be because Murphy Murphy got hurt and
Hmm.
he still can't feel his foot. That sucks when you fuck
It
up the
really
nerve
does.
endings that bad. But
Yeah,
the fact that they could put that together in so quick a time and just have the best like 7 month run you could ever ask of a just thrown together tag team that says volumes and that says volumes in my eyes and the fact that it gave Bandito a spot on the card to show what he could do enough that it feels like this world title match that he has is earned and that's a big deal whereas there were a lot of tag teams that could have worked. I th- I th- I was going back and forth between FTR and Brodito, really, but but the fact that these two were thrown together and they were so fun to watch, and it got Bandito a world title shot out of the whole gig because it got the crowd behind him even more than they were before he came in when he was working with Chris Jericho, who everybody hated at the time. So it wasn't giving him the rub that he needed. This tag team did, and now Brodito's at the top of the card, and I enjoy that. So Brodito gets my pick for tag team of the year as well.
Good case. I dig it. And I'll be honest, this is one of those categories that I had a lot of trouble with because I'm like, okay, a lot of tag team wrestling, it seemed like it was a little understated in a lot of ways. I still love my Wyatt Six. Brodito absolutely had an excellent year this year, but something just seemed like it was missing. Some spark, some new kind of like real engagement. Like I feel like I was kind of lacking interest in a lot of the tag team scene this year until I realized that I was looking in the wrong place. I was looking at the wrong tag division. I was looking at the men's tag team divisions. And then the women's
Yes.
AEW tag team tournament went on, and it was like banger town all over the place. And especially with this one team in mind that really impressed me and really like they were contenders for breakout stars of the year if they weren't already established. Charlie, say it with me. My pick is the Babes
Babes
of
of
Wrath.
Wrath.
It allows, this is one of those cases in my mind where both of them individually are great, but collectively together, much like Brodito, they come together and they made like a greater union in the sum of their parts. There are a whole lot of great tag teams, but they really excelled and it caused everyone, well, I'm going to say it caused Harley Cameron to step up her game, and it just gave Willa Nightingale a chance to get her flowers. More so after what we saw on New Year's Slam or whatever. But yeah, tag team of the year, at least it's the one that I enjoyed among the best, who's not the Wyatt Six.
Yes.
I'm going to go with the Babes of Wrath.
I
Charlie,
feel like we know where Charlie's going as well.
Charlie,
Yes.
Charlie, are we in agreement here?
I called them since day one, so yes, Babes of Wrath.
Nice and easy. Gotta love it.
I feel with the way he was giving himself whiplash the moment you said that until the moment it went to him, that I feel like it was obvious.
Yeah, because he knows I'm right.
But you know what? Still consensus. It's like you got two. There's still consensus going on. It's just
Yeah, Pete's gonna pick something out of left field.
of
So
course
How
he
do you
is.
know the tag team that I love this year is the Dudleys?
Hey,
You know,
actually, yeah,
technically they did have a
Technically, they
match.
did retire this year. Technically, the Dudleys. I mean, what a tag team they were. And to have them go out with Matt and Jeff, it was beautiful. I'm not going to
But
choose between Brodito. I'm not going to choose between the Babes of Wrath. I'm not going to choose FTR because now I want to choose the fucking Dudleys.
hey,
no, who are you really choosing, Pete? Or I'll really break your neck.
No, Brodito. I mean, it's similar to a Kyle Fletcher thing. Even though I am your AEW Collision champion, in all seriousness, like when you guys bring up these stars, that I'm like, okay, I know, Jurassic Express, the MJFs, the matches we're gonna talk about soon, but it's for AEW to have the year they had, that through a lot of places are calling them the best. They had the best year. Like it shows, and to bring on this tag team that you just couldn't hate, it's a no-brainer.
all right, very good. Next category on the list is Feud of the Year. Scholar Brian, it's your pick up first. Who you got for Feud of the Year?
As I said earlier, and Tarek actually brought this up, the match was at the beginning of the year, so you forget it happened. But the feud that stuck with me the most is a woman's feud, and it's Tony Storm and Mariah May. Because that was a 3-year build. 2 year, 2 or 3 years, but it was a build that had a beginning, it had a middle, it had an end. There were no fuck ups in between, and it all made sense. And it ended in a bloody battle that was the best thing on that show and should have main evented that show. Uh, and should have main evented that show because it earned it with the story and the feud that they had put together. And to be completely honest, the rest of the year, feud wise, is like full stories, not really involving like one on ones or whatever. It's like groupthink storylines or whatever. And for a good one on one long term feud, the only one that really stuck with me was Tony Storm and Mariah May, and it got Mariah May a contract with WWE, and she's doing pretty well as Blake Monroe right now. She's gonna get the North American Women's title back on the next NXT show because they fucked that up.
Facts.
So they gave so they gave her the rematch to get the belt back on her, and so it springboarded her to where she wanted to be, and she's doing well where she's at. And it wouldn't have happened without that feud with Tony Storm. So Tony Storm versus Mariah May is my feud of the year, even though it took place within like the first 2 months of the year.
Hey, it still counts, and you know what? I'm inclined to agree with you. This one was very easy for me personally, because in my view, so far in AEW's history, there have been three feuds that I would consider perfect. You've got MJF and CM Punk, you've got Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland, and Tony Storm and Mariah May. To see this feud executed this way, even after all this time, even though it only took part in the very beginning of the year, what we got was nothing less than spectacular, nothing less than complete. It made a believer in Mariah May out of me. It was more of the Tony Storm Christmas that we had all come to expect at this point. And even the very end promo where I subject you to a life of mediocrity. Like, I know a lot of people were sort of trolling after the result between her match with Thea Hale earlier in the year, but it had a sense of completeness and just absolute execution that is very rare, not just in AEW, but in all of wrestling as a whole. It was immensely satisfying. It was immensely entertaining. And I have no choice but to give Mariah May and Tony Storm my pick for feud of the year. Charlie, it's over to you now. What's your pick for feud of the year?
All right. Shooting from the hip on this one, just started thinking about it when you announced feud of the year. And I have to give it to Roman, Punk, and Rollins. Without Roman, Punk, and Rollins happening, we wouldn't have the stable of the Vision. I loved what they did with Paul Heyman going into this fight, and yeah, it had cinema, it had everything. I have to give it to the triple threat match.
All right, Scar Pete, it's back over to you. What's your feud of the year?
I feel like besides the, of course, Mariah May and Tony Storm feud, I feel like there weren't great feuds. You had like Jey Uso and Gunther in the lead up to WrestleMania. We'll get there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you worry. Haha, we'll get there. But I'm gonna go before obviously the injury and everything. I went CM Punk Rollins. Like again, two great performers. Yeah, I know at the end of the day they may hate each other, but great performers, good match, and it was just a feud that I wanted that got cut down too short, is my feeling.
All right, and last but not least, Tarek, what is your feud of the year?
Down too short. They've been feuding since CM Punk returned at Survivor Series like 2 years ago. Um, I'm sorry, Pete. I'm like, cut too
Listen, I
short. No,
continue
that's
for predictions of old.
When it comes to my feud of the year, I actually have a tie because I couldn't because and it's both for very different reasons. One is one that had I have that had a just a fantastic ending, and as I put it, should have ended. Oh God, I'm blanking out what pay per
Revolution.
view. Thank
Revolution.
you, with Tony Storm and Mariah May. I can't add any more of what you guys said, but my other one, it's I love this feud, and they've only had one match so far, and the match is just and the build up to it has just been nothing but them trying to fuck with one another. Nothing is like, oh, we're gonna work together. Oh no, I accidentally hit him. I hit him, and he's my tag team partner. Hey, you know what? I'm perfectly okay with that. Fuck him. And I am that, and
Oh,
the fact that
yeah.
it's continuing on with this coming year to actually have a legit match, I cannot wait to see what gold they're going to continue on. I'm going to go with Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita, the feud that has had so much character development and only had one match so far, and I couldn't have been any more invested on what these two are doing. That's just going to make the actual legit one-on-one match just that much more spectacular for 2026.
All right, some very strong picks. I dig it. Next category, we've got worst feud of the year. Those storylines and those feuds that just didn't miss the mark or just plain suck down the road. And my first pick up next, and I'm just going to cut right to the chase. My pick for worst feud of the year is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Everything I said at the start of the show so far about individual moments that John Cena was knocking out of the park, this entire extended feud was absolutely not one of them. The heel turn was very nice. It was the follow through and the execution that lacked. Obviously, we got the WrestleMania 41 match where it was just such a dramatic downturn this year from the previous year. Travis Scott coming in, no Rock, Travis Scott backing out. Obviously, the plan changed. John Cena refuses to answer the question straight because he's a corporate boob, polished to a mirror sheen.
Boob.
And I remember I told you, I said it publicly that they need to have John Cena heel for most of the year, drop the title back to Cody at Survivor Series, and then, and only then, do this little mini redemption arc at the end of the year so he can go out as the hero that we all know he wants to be. I'm not going to lie to you. That heel turn was shorter than I wanted it to be. Yes, I was a beneficiary of it because I got to see his last SummerSlam match of John Cena. So, bank error in my favor, I admit. But at the same time, it's not what I originally wanted to see. At the very least, they didn't stick the landing. I'm going to go with John Cena and Cody Rhodes for my pick for worst feud of the year. Charlie, now it's your turn. What's your pick for worst feud of the year?
At least you got to see the better match of their two live.
I will take that. Again, bank error in my favor, but it could have been a lot better. Charlie, what's yours?
Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns.
Okay, I totally forgot that one was a thing.
Exactly.
Fair point. Fair point.
No, I'm a fan of the vision, but what I'm not a fan of is it being Bronson Reed being based around stealing people's shoes and honoring a shul of Fala. I find that silly and useless. Um, Granted, the matches weren't the worst. I just find their feud ridiculous.
Very good. Scholar Pete, what's your pick for worst feud of the year?
I will agree with you, Scholar Jeff, everything you said. I also want to know, just so I have the time, we'll let the Scholar fans know that Scholar Charlie hit me in the neck with a chair. He did a guillotine, and I mean, I have not fully recovered. If you could please just in the comments show your support and just let Scholar Charlie know that that was a terrible pick. It should be John Cena and Cody Rhodes because that is the correct pick. Scholar Tarek, where you at, buddy?
Well, I'm not gonna go with the John Cena and Cody Rhodes, but I will talk about them later. When it comes to just overall like worst feud, I was just thinking of just one that had me just be like, once the feud started, it just made me go, no, I don't want this. This is something that is taking me to a point where you have a storyline that's really kind of at a point where people are just sick and tired of seeing it. And then you throw in someone who is not only the one he's not going to win the world title, but you're having a storyline that is just flat out terrible. And then uh, you have their match, which ended up being the main event that no one wanted, considering we had a match earlier that should have been the main event. I am going to go with John Moxley versus Adam Copeland for the world title at the shit. I forgot again. I forgot the
Revolution.
pay.
Out the shit.
I
Revolution.
forgot Revolution. I forgot to even put it on my thing at Revolution, and you have that piece of shit ending where the only way John Moxley could win is you have Christian Cage cash in his contract just so he can be the one, so you don't have to have Adam Copeland lose. I'm sorry, that is just terrible booking in a feud that no one wanted to see it for a match that we all know that wasn't gonna crown a new champion. This was at a point where the Death Riders were at their lowest, which I will say after this story or after this match, it actually started going back up, which they had a better match on Dynamite, and then it just led to the inevitable Hangman Adam Page storyline. But it's still, you gave us this nasty taste in my mouth of a feud that I didn't want to see. I'm sorry, Charlie. I know he's one of your favorite wrestlers of all time, but should not have been anywhere near the AEW World Title picture. So, Moxley versus Adam Copeland.
And with that, Scholar Brian, what is your pick for worst feud of the year?
100% agreed with my fellow undisputed scholar. I will not say that the beginning of this feud was where the Death Riders were at their lowest point, because it was still at the beginning of that was the first pay-per-view match with a different opponent other than Bryan Danielson. It was the first pay-per-view after they killed him off. So they were still technically riding high and still and they hadn't lost the goodwill yet. But the moment that they figured out that it was Adam Copeland versus, okay, first of all, these two are two of my favorite wrestlers that I have ever watched on screen. And it's making me doubt the abilities of two guys who I have grown up in the business loving, where I'm looking at the TV and was like, Adam, it might be time for you to just go right into TV and movies, buddy. You might be done here. And you're questioning. Now, it came out later on, a couple days ago, that apparently Moxley was injured at the beginning of the year. And if you go back and look and really watch, you could see that he's moving stiff. He's not moving the way that he should be able to. So I get that and all that. But if you know that's the case, either take the title off of him or don't put him in the ring with Adam Copeland, who's already working safe and can't do a lot of what guys like Swerve and Hangman can do. Because that Revolution match was so slow and so plodding and had so much extra shit at the end because you knew that Copeland couldn't win, but he couldn't take the loss either because that was the way it was. And this killed that storyline so dead that they had to work so hard to even get to the point where that ending with Hangman Page was acceptable. Okay, people were saying you should lose it to Swerve. People were saying you should lose it to whoever he was fighting on any given night because that feud was so bad. And John Moxley had to get a spiked bat shoved into his back for anyone to even give a shit about a John Moxley and Adam Copeland match. That is why that, yeah, John Cena and Cody Rhodes went on too long. The match at WrestleMania was dog shit. I'll give you that. But this was 2 months that killed the story, that almost killed the storyline dead, killed almost everyone in that storyline dead because it made Claudio look bad. It it made Wheeler Yuta, if you give a shit, look bad. It made Marina Shafir look bad. It's like it almost killed everybody off at the jump. And you're talking about two of the superstars that you remember, two names that pop in the top of your head as people who are at the top of their game in WWE and AEW in the years before, showing up in a Death Rider storyline where it doesn't even make sense for Copeland to be there because it has nothing to do with the storyline the Death Riders were trying to tell. So it's like it made no sense. It helped nobody. And while the match with John Cena and Cody Rhodes were bad, you at least had that awesome one at SummerSlam. We'll get into all the rest of it, but that really wasn't John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for me. John Moxley and Adam Copeland almost destroyed careers. And that's all I need to know that it's my worst feud of the year.
Right. With that, let's switch gears to something a bit more positive. Let's go to match of the year. And Charlie, it's your pick up first.
Yay!
What's your pick for match of the year?
um, it's been described as a love letter to professional wrestling, and I can not go with anything else but that match, AJ Styles versus John Cena.
All right.
From the introduction that John Cena wrote AJ Styles to the match itself, it had everything I wanted and more.
I had a very strong feeling that was going to be in here for at least one or two of us. Scholar Pete, what's your pick for match of the year?
I just want to point out that Scholar Charlie again did not acknowledge his chair shot to me, ladies and gentlemen. Have him in the comments, let him know. Of course, my match of the year is John Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. The moments, the mayhem, and then at the end to finally unhook that briefcase, take out that championship. It it was to me, and I've said it throughout this show, and I will say it now. The AEW in the beginning of the year really I wasn't actively needing to watch. But really I would have to say since the John Moxley Hangman Adam Page match, AEW is just really just taking on, and I am just so much more invested in AEW. And like I said, this match was just all the emotions, and I hope and I think that some people will share with my thought, but that is my match of the year.
All right. Tarek, it's your pick up next. What's your pick for match of the year?
I already called it as this year's Cody Rhodes winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. I'm also going to go with Hangman Adam Page versus John Moxley at All in Texas as my match of the year because again, because I was so invested with Hangman Adam Page's story and his redemption arc, where when he won what was it, the Owen Hart Cup to earn this title
Yeah.
shot.
Yep.
So when he won it, I remember it was between him and Osprey, correct?
Yes.
I remember saying once that tournament started that whoever was winning this tournament was winning the championship. And you had two guys in the main event where I was pretty much saying one of these guys has is going to be the guy of Osprey and Hangman. And with the realization, yeah, the Hangman Adam Page is the one with the bigger story arc, the bigger redemption arc, and you have the match, and it did have the level of chaos that WrestleMania that Cody Rhodes and Roman had, but what I actually like about this match more than that is as much as I love The Undertaker, him showing up there just to chokeslam the Rocks didn't make sense in the long run. At least not to me. Everyone who was a part of this match and part of the chaos was basically people who were there to fight for the soul of AEW that has been hurt by the Death Riders at some point in this long feud or in this long storyline of the Death Riders hold over AEW. And to have it just fully pay off to give us that such a high emotional moment where you have Swerve of all people giving him the smile and nod of approval to win this one compared to when he won it against Kenny Omega where the Young Bucks were in that position. Yeah, this is just a big emotional moment that I didn't like. I didn't have that when it comes to just a wrestling arc for anything else in this year. So with that, I'm gonna also gonna have Hangman Adam Page versus John Moxley AEW World Championship, all in Texas.
All right. Scholar Brian, it's your pick up next. What's your pick for match of the year?
Hey, so as I said, we've got a guy that I have in my worst feud of the year, worst match of the year, and best match of the year. And it's and I said that the worst feud of the year could have potentially destroyed the career of everybody involved. And the best match of the year basically proved that the Death Riders have a place in AEW, and John Moxley is still John Moxley, and you needed a generational heel performance on top of everything that was going on with Hangman Adam Page and everybody coming out to finally get their vengeance. Yeah, it is. As Tarek said, it's basically Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, except all the run-ins make sense. And they're all about the get back because the Death Riders took all of them out. In the process, they took out Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay went off to have surgery. And so you still have that and the best part about this is also you have storylines to lead out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not it's the ending of the Death Riders hold on AEW, but it's not the end of all the little side stories. You have the Hangman and Swerve bit. You have the Osprey still needs to come back and get his over the Death Rider stuff. So you're still. I know I've been tooting my horn waiting for the Death Riders to turn on John Moxley, but I figured out that you can't have it until Will Ospreay gets his back. So and you have the details going forward of this begins John Moxley's fall from grace. His mind is scary catness, and you start that when you have one redemption arc start and another redemption arc begin, leading into the end of the year, and and one story leads into another, it leads into many others off of one fantastic match that basically says it puts Hangman where he needs to be. Hangman is the guy in AEW, should be the guy. We'll probably get back to the top. I don't hate the Samoa Joe bit, but all that aside, Hangman Page is your main character, and this made him. It made Jon Moxley feel like a final boss that Hangman needed to beat in order to become the face of AEW. Hey, parallels. WWE, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. It's the same shit, except the run-ins make sense. So it gave me my most emotional moment of the year, other than what my best moment of the year is going to be, because obviously, come on, but it's Hangman Page versus Jon Moxley because it gives you everything you want and it leads you into something more, and it gave AEW the burst that it needed to put out its best show, its best 6 months since 2021. Okay. And it jumped off from this match.
Now, as far as my match of the year pick is concerned, I had a dream. When I was a wee little lad growing up watching the Attitude Era, there's one thing that I wanted to see. As good as women's wrestling could be, I just wanted to see a good old-fashioned women's blood feud. Literally, where the women were just bleeding all over each other. They were having again, I'm a ghoul. I like the hardcores match. I like that kind of stuff. So that I will say, without hyperbole, that when I saw the final match between Tony Storm and Mariah May, when I saw the Hollywood ending that they had planned out 2 years in the making, without exaggeration, I can say it was a literal dream come true for me. When I wanted to see like a women's blood feud match, an actual legit brawl, a blood-covered brawl, that is exactly what I had in mind. And I saw it with two great-looking women who were just ready to maim the crap out of each other, and I loved it so much. With some of the other picks, very briefly, yeah, it was an. You can say the same for Hangman versus Moxley. That feud had a great conclusion, but really, this Mariah May versus Tony Storm for me was the one that I wanted the most. And yeah, you can make a very strong case for John Cena versus AJ Styles, and but that whole love letter. But I feel like a lot of top guys who were who could also pull off something similar. Not taking away from anything away from those guys, but Tony Storm and Mariah May, for me anyway, just felt much more complete on every single metric that you can. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tony Storm and Mariah May, the Hollywood ending from Revolution, for my pick for match of the year. But now we're taking a brief sojourn over to the dark side because the next category is worst match of the year. And Scholar Pete, it's your pick up first. What's your pick for worst match of the year?
Well, gentlemen, let me take you back to September 26, 2025, the episode of SmackDown, the main event, of course, with Tiffany Stratton defending her women's title against Nia Jax and Jade Cargill, or what I would like to call is my worst match of the year. Because goodness gracious, the referee fucking up, the match looking sloppy, everything was just a blunder at the end. Even with the moonsault, it was just a disaster. It should have been done better. It was the problems we had with Jade Cargill. It was, we knew this with Nia Jax, even though, she tries every time. Not hating on the girl, it's just always in the ring. There's something with her, and with her not kicking out and the ref just stopping it too. What is happening here, everybody? This is I didn't want to put this as my worst match because I don't even think this should have been a match. That is my pick.
All right. Skalatarek, back to you. What's your worst match of the year?
I'm just going with John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania Night 2. It I can't really add on to what people have been saying when it came to like their worst feud of the year and all that. Just with so much promises of like, oh, we're gonna have The Rock, we're gonna have Travis Scott for reasons. We're gonna have something big on the horizon of John Cena's recent heel turn. He's winning his 17th world title run, and it wasn't as good. It wasn't a very good match. You had yeah, Travis Scott come in and just take an eternity to come to the ring. You don't have The Rock showing up at all, so it's just be like, okay, so his heel turn, the whole thing that happened at Elimination Chamber was just complete nothing, and it the match seemed to be just so much more a setup that would eventually just lead to nothing because the whole thing with Travis Scott not showing up. So in the end, you have this match that just ends night two on such a just a, a level where people are just like, man, that was just terrible. Which, like I said earlier, at least they made up for a better match at SummerSlam, but we still had to go through this nonsense, and it's not a way for you to close WrestleMania when you're at the beginning of the year and you're riding on such a high from 2024.
I hear you. Brian, your pick up next. What's your worst match of the year?
I went so hard on this in my worst feud of the year that I can't possibly not put it as my worst match of the year too. It's John Moxley versus Copeland at AEW Revolution because once again we keep saying it. The Hollywood ending was that night, and with a name like that, it should probably end the show. But you know, since it didn't, the main event should probably be good at the very least. Instead, it was pretty ass. And first of all, it killed a stipulation. It killed a where MJF had to win at the at World's End because that contract would mean nothing because of what happened to it at the hands of Mox, Copeland, and Christian. And second of all, it proved it. It was a match where during it, I actually questioned how good Mox and Cope were anymore. And I know that's blasphemy for some people, but if you're making me question your abilities to entertain at any point during a main event match for a world title on a pay-per-view, yeah. Um you get my spot as worst pay-per-view match of the year. And you have to build that is a moment that could have killed anything that happened in AEW for the rest of the year. Luckily, they were able to get out of it. But that match, a lot of people questioning, including myself. And I've always loved Copeland. I've always loved Moxley. But when you get me questioning your abilities at 11:30 on a Sunday night, that is not good.
I'll tell you what, with the way these conversations are going, I find it very interesting because my pick, I'm wondering how many people here even remember this match even happened. That's my pick for worst match of the year. I'm going with Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella at Clash in Paris. That one was just like Nikki Bella. Don't have much confidence in her, and I'm just like Yeah, I know wrestling is hard. Yes, I know she's been out of the game for a while, but there's just something about Nikki Bella that just really shows me whenever she opens her mouth that she is still, I know she works hard, but she is also the beneficiary of a time in professional wrestling where the women's wrestling world, the bar was on the floor. And yes, yeah, Nikki Bella got over. Yes, Nikki Bella worked very hard. Yes, she's steadily improved. But the women's wrestling world has greatly eclipsed her baseline at this point. And maybe she was rusty, maybe she had a bad day, but this match was just botch after botch after botch to the point where it was painful to watch to a degree that I had not seen from any other match that I've seen this year. This was bad. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella, Clash in Paris.
I'll say this because uh, for most of us, expectations of that match were met. That's why we don't. That's why we don't really. That's why we didn't really think about it for worst match of the year. Expectations
Fair,
were met.
fair enough. Charlie, what do we think?
My match for worst match of the year may shock a lot of people because it's been put up on many a Facebook post as a contender for match of the year, which I just find comical. There's an episode of South Park where Stan just becomes a cynical douche and just hears like poop noises from like this new band that everyone's raving about. And all he hears is just that it sounds like shit. That's what happens every time I try to go back and watch this match and find some validation for it. The TLC match on SmackDown.
Oh damn!
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
was so
Tell me
hyped
more.
for it. I was so hyped for it. Between people playing hot potato with the tag team championships to DIY being in a TLC match to Street Profits, and it just ended up being a big rotting turd to me.
That's a spicy take right there. But now let's get a little palate cleanser here. Let's go for pay-per-view of the year or just plain wrestling show of the year. Tarek, it's your first pick up next. What's your pay-per-view of the year?
When I went through the pay-per-views, I tried to look at all the matches that were on the card and just left me going, that was a good match. I actually enjoyed it. To, oh my God, that was amazing. I am very happy to be a wrestling fan because of just what was presented to me there. So the only pay-per-view that actually really got that out of me was All in Texas. And it's is just you are how you leave the show. You are how you leave the audience. And how that show ended just made me just hopeful again. It made me thinking, okay, AEW is now just really in this right direction.
Very good. Scholar Brian, what's your pick for pay-per-view of the year?
You know what? It's the what I pick for my shows of the year are what give me the most emotion. And as a whole, it's All in Texas. Easy. It's There was nothing bad on that show. You were amped up throughout the entire show. Every match was good, and it ends on the high, on the absolute high that it did. Nothing else moved me like that. I was on the edge of my seat for the entire show. I enjoyed everything that I saw. There was no point in question where I was like, huh, well, that could have been better. It, it was just a perfect show in my eyes, and it makes it an easy choice for me. All in Texas.
I've seen, as far as this category is concerned, I feel like I tend to give it to the major show that I saw that year in person that I had tickets to personally. And that show continues. I'm gonna go full bias here, and I'm gonna go for AEW Full Gear. I
Damn it!
I I absolutely I got my money's worth. I had a great time. You were all there. And you were there and you were there. We had great seats and it was just fun from top to bottom in my own backyard. So yeah, and in all remote seriousness, I'm sure from an objective perspective, yeah, you could say that All in Texas was a superior show in a lot of ways. Uh, SummerSlam was also a very strong show both nights. But in terms of just like delivering a breakneck pace and getting the most bang for your buck, I'm gonna go Full Gear just because I had a great time. Scholar Charlie, are you saying that because that was your pick?
Not only did you take my pick, but you also took my honorable mention of SummerSlam. Uh, both nights. Um, at a night when I needed it most, Full Gear was the night out that I needed with you and Tarek, and it just delivered happiness from the moment we got in the car to the moment I got home that night. Everything was just amazing. Full Gear wins.
And Scholar Pete, what is your pick for pay-per-view of the year in your eyes?
There was a lovely little indie pay-per-view back in Wichita, Texas, that it was actually the GIWP. Shout out to their organization. What a pay-per-view, top to bottom. Killigan versus Shazam in the World Heavyweight title. What a match. But obviously, my runner-up is obviously All in Texas. I mean, what a pay-per-view. What a moment. Again, we talked about it earlier. Hangman taking the title out, the moments, the MJF, everything like that. You just top to bottom, there was no fat on that card, and it was the best, I think, pay-per-view of the year.
All right. Now let's get a little bit more negative in here. Let's go for worst pay-per-view of the year. Scholar Brian, let's just get through this thing.
So remember when I said I like pay-per-views to leave me with emotion, whether it's good, whether it's bad. If it leaves me with emotion of any kind, then it won't be on my worst pay-per-view of the year list. I'm going to say a pay-per-view that left me with nothing at all, and that is Survivor Series War Games. I was fine with it for the first hour because that women's War Games was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It shows that they deserved a War Games, but after that, nothing. Nothing at all. John Cena, Dominic Mysterio, didn't care. Liv Morgan came back. Oh, cool. What's next? The women's match. Let's forget about that one. And the men's War Games is a vacuum to build up Austin Theory. Okay, no, thank you. This pay per view left me feeling nothing, and that is, and considering it was after the switch to $30, no, not a fan. Survivor Series War Games. It's my worst pay per view of the year.
I'll tell you what, as long as we're talking about the whole $30 switch to ESPN, for my pick, I'm going to go with the very first pay-per-view that they had on ESPN. I'm going to go with WrestlePalooza. Just because, like, if you're going to coerce people into spending $30 a month for something that you previously only cost you 10, you really need something to justify that price. And I didn't even make the switch just yet. Just just because we moved some stuff around. We got the right bundle eventually, but this did absolutely no favors, especially when you got a painfully mediocre John Cena versus Brock Lesnar match that was just not selling me. Just no. I was not a fan of this, and frankly, in hindsight, I just see it as like a harbinger of things to come. Charlie, what about you? What's your pick?
I I've touched on this event. Somebody else touched on this event. We're just beating the crap out of this event tonight. Clash in Paris. Uh to make a reference that Tarek would know Jeremy Johns when he goes, you'll forget this in about T minus.
Yep, already forgot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
too
well,
watched some
consider,
Jeremy Johns.
considering I forgot, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it was an event until he actually went in on Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella, and then I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing.
I hear you. Scholar Pete.
Tell you, I couldn't even tell you the card of Clash in Paris in retrospect. It just didn't deliver.
Gentlemen,
Speaking
we
of
are wrestling
delivering,
fans. And with my pick of the worst pay-per-view is the pay-per-view I love every year. It's the one that kicks off every year. Of course, I'm talking about the worst pay-per-view of the year is the Royal Rumble of this year. Why, you ask? Because Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. Where is Jey Uso now? Back to being tag team champions with his brother because you single run, main single shit. You took my favorite event, the Royal Rumble, and you put this guy on, and you didn't even give him a calendar year to give this man a chance. You stuck him back with the tag team championships. I bring you back to an hour and 15 minutes ago with the underused wrestler LA Knight for the Royal Rumble 2026. Thank you. That is all.
very good. I will take it. Scholar Tarek, take us home. Worst pay-per-view of the year. What's your pick?
I'm actually going to go with what you said, Jeff, and I'm also going to go with WrestlePalooza for my worst pay-per-view of the year. When you're trying to build this show as the equivalent to WrestleMania, you better fucking deliver. And this show failed to deliver. I mean, the only match that was actually worthwhile watching was Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky for the world title. But then when you look at the other matches, they were just like, oh yeah, that happened. Vision versus Usos. Uh, you start the damn show with Brock Lesnar completely destroying John Cena right after his face turn, and everyone just was like, okay, for the remainder of the year, we just want to see John Cena win, win, win. Nope, we get 8 minutes of beatdown, suplex city, suplex city, suplex city, F5, bitch.
See,
So
the thing with me is maybe I was wrong about this, but I didn't really consider WrestlePalooza a pay-per-view. Like I understand why people would, but it felt more like a Saturday night's main event that they just kind of threw on the thing. And so I didn't really consider that because otherwise that would be an easy as hell pick that I would just go, yeah, that. But it was I just for how much they built up war games for it to wind up meaning nothing in the end other than a vehicle for Austin Theory again. What is this, like the fifth or sixth time we've tried to push this guy? and
well,
and
we didn't
you're
even know it was Austin Theory at that time.
oh we know.
We all knew, but when it came to the actual story aspects, we
Yeah,
didn't know.
but it's like of the pay-per-views that I knew and understood were a pay-per-view at the time, the only one that left me feeling nothing at all was was War Games. Like not even not angry, not not happy, just like I'm sitting there like, okay, that was a thing.
Just empty.
Just empty. Like what did I just do with 2.5 hours of my life?
Well, speaking of empty, let's get the last negative category out for the night. This is the Need of Clear Liquid Award. When we're talking about something of the year, could be a match, a moment, whatever in the world of professional wrestling that was so bad, so negative, that you
Scroll
just need
back.
a palate cleanser. You need some of that clear liquid. What is that clear liquid? You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, my pick for my near need of clear liquid award is just WWE's business model that in the current year. We've sort of hinted on bits and pieces of it. We're talking about the outlandish ticket prices that are only going even more to maximize profit in the short term, but also pricing out a lot of families. Meanwhile, you've got AEW, where we were just talking about in terms of bang for your buck and just sheer value for the caliber of wrestling show that you get. Not to mention our own personal accommodations, where they're dope as all get out. You know what I'm talking about. And not to mention their entire business model now, where originally you would have all of WWE programming all in one place. You would have just like Raw, SmackDown on just basic cable, and then you would just have like the WWE Network or whatever. Like, and that's still most wrestling companies today. AEW, all their stuff is on HBO Max. You've got TNA. They just signed a deal with AMC. Uh, Honor Club. Yeah, if you really want that, yeah, it's another $10, but still all in one place. For NWA, that's on Roku, I believe. But then when you go to WWE, yeah, you gotta spend $30 a month for something that includes ESPN Unlimited for their pay-per-views. If you want to watch Raw, you gotta have Netflix. If you want to watch SmackDown, you still gotta make sure you had basic cable. If you want to watch Saturday night's main event, you gotta make sure you still have your Peacock subscription. And oh, by the way, we just took down all of the past pay-per-views off of Peacock. So it's like we're being hosed. We, the fan base, are being hosed by whatever the board of directors at TKO wants to do with WWE right now. And I don't think they're feeling the effects of it yet, but I predict over 2026, the temperature is going to shift. And
They're
they're going
feeling the effects of it already because ESPN is already saying that they regret their deal with TKO. So
And also the WWE isn't in the top of Netflix on the night that it airs anymore. It's for the last 5 weeks. It hasn't been in the top five.
there you go. The mood is already changing. I hope, I said this during John Cena's final match, I think this is going to start a recalibration in 2026. I think that more people are going to look into alternatives, and either it'll force TKO to adjust their business model just a tad to make it a bit more accessible, or it's going to result in more people checking out AEW, which is more than fine by me. Charlie, I'm
the
pitching
price
over.
of wrestling tickets have gotten Brock Lesnar guy to retire.
Don't talk about him. Who gives a shit?
I'm joking.
I see what the point you're making. I do.
Oh, fucking boo hoo. Who cares?
I see it as more of it's a
I
comment on
love the
ticket
fact
prices, not
I
on
love
Brock
the
Lesnar
fact that
guy.
he genuinely makes Tarek so mad.
He's
Anyway,
Dude, when
anyway.
you see what he's done to try and get himself over and have people pay like 20 to $30 to take a picture with him, fuck him.
Oh
Fuck
God, he
that guy.
does?
Yeah, he's an
Oh,
asshole. To hell with him.
wow.
Which is exactly why I'm seeing Charlie's comment as the ridiculous joke that it is.
It was.
He is a
Um,
joke. That's
Yes,
the biggest joke of it all.
that's the point. Anyway, Charlie,
um,
continue, please.
yeah, it's just the price of being a wrestling fan nowadays. That's the need of clear liquid. I don't have HBO Max, so uh AEW events to me are $50 still. Um ESPN, I just recently for Survivor Series, talk about a kick in the face. Got the triple app deal, which I use Disney Plus more than ESPN at this point. um, Uh, like you said, you need cable for SmackDown, Netflix for Raw, Peacock still for Saturday night's main event. It's just all just become too much. They need to work on either getting everything onto ESPN or everything onto Netflix. They can't keep pulling us in 20 different directions like this and shaking our wallets for all we're worth.
All right. Scholar Pete, what are you giving your Need of Clear Liquid award to this year?
It'll be a little bit more condensed than WWE as a whole. I'm just gonna say Travis Scott from WrestleMania, because what the fuck? Like, why was he there? What the fuck was the purpose? This just annoyed the hell out of me. I like you, Travis Scott, but why? Why do the things that you did? Scholar Tarek, explain.
Well,
I'm not going to let this
Travis
slide.
Scott wanted to be in a match, and then he just realized that when he was training, wrestling is just too hard.
I am never going to like someone who bastardizes for the longest time when I'm looking up Googling Cactus Jack, I'm like, who is this Travis Scott guy and why is he suddenly taking the name Cactus Jack? Because he thinks he's a fake tough guy and he's a dick. He's a dick who's capitalizing on the good name of my favorite wrestler. Get out of here. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. I'm
Wow.
sorry. Tarek, continue.
It's actually really funny because I actually thought I was going to be the only one that actually just is going to look at the WWE business model of 2025 and just think, what the ever loving hell are you thinking? And there's the ticket prices. There's the so many different things that you have to subscribe to in order to watch everything. There's the extremely safe and boring booking of Triple H throughout this year that took away a lot of good graces from the wrestling audience to the point where it's not even just a booking standpoint. He's still putting himself front and center through most of this product. He's doing all the narrations. He's coming out to be like, "Oh, aren't you glad I gave you such a good year, John? Here's this video package that I made specifically for you. Here's me fucking front and center of WrestleMania compared to the top four guys. Why are you even in this poster? You're not gonna do anything in this goddamn show. Why are you the big man that's like standing up above everyone else? You big egotistical son of a bitch." Just, but like overall, when you have a top executive at TKO saying that Vince McMahon was too soft for having families be coming to your shows, that's just a sign of trouble. I mean, you're making Vince McMahon look good. And because yeah, it is this should be for families. This the best way the best way I can really look at this look is I'll go ahead and plug Wrestling with Regret, Brian Zane, his view of his top 10 worst things of wrestling this year. And he goes in a much bigger detail standard. And he was exactly right with just WWE is like when it was under Vince McMahon, the WWE product was just for him. And then once TKO came in, we were thinking, and we were on a good grace and just thinking, oh, things are going to get better now for us wrestling fans watching the WWE product. But with how so much things, like how much they're expecting us to pay to go to these shows, how much they're expecting us to pay to watch the product on so many different social media, different type of uh, streaming services. There you go. I can think clearly to all this. It's not about us. Yeah, and you have all the branding all over the place. The snap into a Slim Jim tables. Prime is still right in the middle of the ring. Uh, or not in the middle of the ring. Around next to the commentators, you have the logos of the branding and advertisers all around the ring. This isn't about WWE isn't about us. as a fan. It's about now the audience. It's not about the shows trying to entertain us as the audience that is coming in. It's now for the sponsors. It's now for uh the people who are like putting money into this, like of the like on the business side of things. It's not.
The
It's about
investors.
the investors. Thank you. It's their it's the show is trying to entertain them, and when it gets to a point where you are booking professional wrestling as the villain and you're having us say, "Oh, we are a professional wrestling company that hates professional wrestling, where it's now more moments and entrances and all that." That's just saying that's just saying WWE is at a point where you have your audience starting to look at the alternatives. And I'm not saying that part is the bad thing. It's nice to have the alternatives. But when you're actually like trying your damnedest to push you to take as much money from us as possible to the point where you're making us all leave and having us be like, wow, maybe Vince McMahon wasn't such a bad guy after all. I've heard plenty of people saying, man, Triple H sucks as a booker now. Fire him and bring Vince McMahon back. When you're getting like absolute nonsense like that being discussed in the internet wrestling community, you know you're doing something wrong here.
Uh, man, I couldn't have said that better myself. Scholar Brian, take us home. What's your pick for your Need of Clear Liquid Award this year? Do we
I
have a
could go for the
consensus?
I could go for the obvious and say everything that you guys have already said. That's obvious. I'm not going to do it because I think four people saying the exact same thing for this one is I can't really expound on that. So yeah, obviously the WWE business model is a piece of shit. The way they've been running it this year is absolutely horrible. You know what else was actually pretty fucking horrible this year? John Cena's heel run, all of it after the best and the worst moment actually coincide because the worst moment is everything after the heel turn, before the face turn. That entire 6 month time frame after the Rock and Travis Scott just decided to say, you know what, peace, and John Cena had to try to make a go of a heel turn by himself that just didn't work. And when the only thing he had in his ability in the match as a heel is a dick kick. That's pretty. That was pretty much how his matches ended for a good 6 months. They ended with a dick kick and not even a finisher for the win. I'm pretty sure the dick kick was the finisher for the 6 month time frame of him as a heel. Yeah. So my Need of Clear Liquid was that entire 6 month time span after the heel turn.
All right. Now that we got that through all that, let's start going back to the positives. Let's talk about the You're Welcome Award. This is the award that we give to could be a match, a segment, a thing, whatever it is in the world of professional wrestling this year that was just distinct, that just put a smile on your face like nothing else did. Just the highlight of the year for you personally. And this last pick goes to Charlie. It's your first. What
Oh
would you be
boy.
giving the You're Welcome Award to this year?
Huh.
A lot of dead
I
air,
know you
Charlie.
broke my neck. I know we both have the same.
I mean, this shouldn't be hard. It really shouldn't.
It
we're
is
talking
because
we're talking about one moment.
I know, but
It's obvious.
I could think of something that can make you happy. The experience of Full Gear. It made you an AEW fan.
Yeah, true. Only I'm playing it safe with that because what my true one is would put me on a rant worse than Jeff's with John Cena. So, let's just go with Full Gear.
Rants aside, what is it?
What?
We
Rants
know what it
aside,
is. We know what it is.
No, we don't.
just say it.
Yeah.
Mick Foley leaving WWE because of its ties with Trump.
Okay, that's all you needed. There you go. That's
Okay, we're following now.
we can yeah, we get it. There's no need to explain. There's no need to rant because we get it.
All right, Scholar Pete, how about you? What are you giving the Your Welcome Award to this year?
I mean, it's obvious, boys. Everybody knows what my answer is going to be. It has been almost 10 years in the making. It's
Oh
obviously the
yes.
return of AJ Lee. Yes,
Where's the towel at?
what better gift could you give to a fellow scholar than having AJ Lee, that beautiful goddess from the.
He needs a pillow.
Let me tell you,
He needs a
back
pillow. He needs a towel. He
back
needs
in the
everything.
the Chaz of the apartments, many of days AJ Lee was just the best, and when she came back, that reaction, everything. You're welcome. I'm welcome that she's back. Because my God, I'm happy.
He needs a cigarette after that.
Oh
Was
yeah,
it good for you?
Scholar Tarek, where are you at? Fuck
Oh
you,
yeah.
Phil Brooks. You get to see it live on camera and just be staring, and nobody could say shit to you.
Hey, some guys got all the luck. What can I say? But Tarek, it's your pick next. What are you giving the Your Welcome Award to?
What made me the happiest scholar of the year? Or
Oh,
happiest
come on
scholar?
now. Come on now.
That made me a happy scholar from the year 2025 is having your favorite wrestler tap John Cena out like a little bitch. Gunther tapping out John Cena. That and just the response that came to it, that came from it. Mm, the tears of all the people bitching and crying about,
Drink
oh, you
those
made John, you
IWC
made
tears, Tarek. Drink those IWC tears.
it is delicious. It's the sweetener to my tea. It's the sweetener to my clear liquid. Oh, mm, mm. That is just delicious. Oh, I once John Cena tapped out, I was screaming like the gif of that baby screaming. Yes. Oh, I still watch reactions of people responding of John Cena tapping out to this day. I watched it earlier today just to get that, just to give me that moment of like, yes, yes, cry, bitches, cry. You're a hero. Just gave up. Never give up. Ha! He gave up. He tapped out like a little bitch. I'm buying that shirt, by the way. I'm getting that
Please do.
Gunther tap like a bitch.
All right, Scholar Brian, what are you giving the Your Welcome Award to this year?
Two things can be true at the same time. The actual heel run was very, very bad. The actual heel turn itself is my moment of the year. John Cena's actual heel turn. The actual moment heel turn is my moment of the year.
All right. Now, my pick for moment of the year is something, or not so much a moment of the year, but thing of the year that I tragically was not present for, but I desperately wanted to be. I'm going to go with the fact that Universal Orlando, for Halloween Horror Nights this year, did a Wyatt Six and a Bray Wyatt themed haunted house. I admit this year was my first year ever visiting Orlando. And unfortunately, I missed this by I missed this by about 4 months. But I'm like, it was my first trip to Orlando. I'm like, you know what? Okay, I get it now. And then they announced that they're doing a Wyatt Six haunted house for Halloween Horror Nights. And I'm like, man, I'm not much of a Halloween guy. I'm not much of a horror uh horror house, haunted house kind of guy. But damn it, if I ever wanted to go to a haunted house, frickin' A, just I wanted to be there. I wanted to get like the the Ramblin' Rabbit carrot cake on a stick. I wanted the whole schmear,
Mm.
especially when you put, in all seriousness, like just the idea that you're putting one of my favorite factions in wrestling today up against like horror juggernauts like Terrifier, Jason Voorhees, Five Nights and Freddy's. Like, just the fact that Bray Wyatt is among those giants in the entertainment world, that just puts a smile on my face. It tells me that even when the wrestling world is imperfect and things are going to hell, there's still a light in the darkness now. There's still good fun to be had. But before I move on, I must ask the one very critical question that I dread knowing the answer to the one person who is able to actually reasonably go. Scholar Brian, were you actually ever able to go?
No, I was not able to go. Work success.
I had a feeling, but oh, like,
Oh, you know
I
that
was
would have
still
been all
crazy jealous.
you know that would have been all over the group chat. Yeah,
Yes, I do. I do. But
it
still,
sucked.
I'm like, it was like so close on so many levels. This thing was just like so close and yet so far. But at this point, in all seriousness, I'm just damn glad that something like that exists. That makes me happy and makes me very excited for what could happen in 2026. But speaking of what could happen in 2026, we would be remiss if we don't throw out some predictions about what we think is the wild, crazy predictions that we think is going to happen in the wrestling world in 2026. And Scholar Pete, I believe that you've got the first pick and first chance to make a crazy prediction. What Give us something crazy. What is the most wild out there prediction you've got for something that's going to happen in 2026 this year?
Jelly Roll will become tag team champions with someone.
Ooh.
I don't know who the wrestler is, but I think he's going to do something where even if it's Orton or something like that, he's going to have a little short stint maybe in the summer. I'm not saying long, but he is going to be a champion of something, Jelly Roll.
Oh God.
Kicking it off strong right out of the gate. I like it. Scholar Tarek, how about you? What do you got?
Hmm. Let's see. What wild prediction that is going to get a big shock out of you guys? Now that she finally lost the TBS championship, we're finally gonna have Mercedes Moné winning the All Elite Women's Wrestling Championship.
Like nails on a chalkboard, Pete will be insufferable, and so will the rest of us.
I'm
Scholar
overcome
Brian,
with emotion with the red on my face because that was well done, Scholar Tark.
Scholar Brian, give us a crazy prediction. What do you got for this year?
I'm going to keep going on the annoying people train. Once Jake Paul heals up from his broken jaw, he will team up with his brother Logan and become tag team champions in WWE.
Oh God.
I hate that there's a good
Oh
solid chance it's
God,
gonna happen. I hate that you're please still be
Brian,
right. If
why?
if there was ever
Why
a
put that
chance
out in the universe?
Because
Because
I am the
it's truth.
destroyer of dreams.
Creator of nightmares, more like it. Oh God.
speaking of Destroyer of Dreams, this is probably one of the more predictable things I'm going to say, but you know what? If it's predictable, I'm also going to be more precise. Speaking of Destroyer of Dreams, I want Gunther to be the man that we all think he is, the one that we all know he could absolutely be. I want him to be the breaker of dreams. I want him to retire everyone. I want him to be more precise. I think he's going to retire a minimum of three people this year, and I will name them. He's going to retire AJ Styles. He is going to retire Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, and he's going to retire Rey Mysterio as well. He's going to retire all of them. He's going to be the breaker of dreams and destroyer of souls to the point where the crowd is going to be begging for someone to take him down and be the big damn hero that avenges all of theirs. And there's
I just
only
had one more
one.
name.
What's, give me a name.
He's also gonna retire a returning Y2J Chris Jericho.
Okay, let's call it right now. He's going to retire four people in 2026, and then
Wait. Chris Jericho is not retiring in 2026.
Oh,
hey,
he
these are
should.
crazy. These are
He
crazy
better. I
predictions.
wanted him to retire 2 years ago. He should have.
But be that as it may,
All
after
that
a,
bubbly.
after all of the bodies that Gunther piles up, the crowd is going to be frothing at the mouth to get some champion, someone who's a bad enough dude who's finally going to rise up and take down Gunther and take his game up to the next level. And I know who that person is. There's only one person that comes to mind who can possibly fit that bill, someone badass enough to shut Gunther down for good.
See?
His name is Oba Femi.
Ooh,
Yeah, probably.
wow.
Yeah,
I
probably.
I thought that
See,
I
even
thought that
you
you were
can
going
see that. Even
see
you can see that.
that would have been the perfect opportunity to swerve and go El Dandy again.
That's what I was expecting.
Hey,
Mine mine is short, sweet, and to the point. Predictable, yes. Safe, yes. Kyle Fletcher as AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
hey, some of them are crazier than others. We got to admit that. But now, those are our picks, those are our awards. But if I'm reading this right, there's just one more award to give out before we close out for the night. And that is the award for Scholar of the Year for 2025. I know Scholar Tarek has been tabulating the results and has been keeping the score all year long. Scholar Tarek, the floor is yours.
So, for those who do not know, the award for Scholar of the Year, how we figure this out is that we tally up all of our prediction scores and we tally up all the times a scholar has won. And all of them add up to determine who has the highest score, and who has that highest score will be the Scholar of the Year. So let us go down from bottom to top. And I must say, this has been quite the year of scholars' predictions because it is a very historical one because we have some firsts here. So, to start off, we have Scholar Charlie at 140 points.
Pretty
That
good.
time away, that time away from you, away, Charlie, hurt your chances of being undisputed scholar. But
I
we
know,
know
I
you're gonna.
know.
With hey,
You had such a
140,
great start this year. You had a
140 is
demanding
pretty
lead.
good. Yeah, 140 is pretty good for the amount of time he took off.
Yeah, let's see. You missed three, six, seven. You missed 8 shows. Granted, one of them was when you came back, you didn't put in the predictions for Crown Jewel.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, with 134 over points plus the 6 prediction wins.
Gotcha.
So, all right. And next up, we actually have a tie. We have Jeff and Pete tying with 167 points.
Okay, that you're right. That is a first.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was. Let's see. Jeff, you had 160 prediction points correct, and you had 7 prediction wins. And Pete, you had 156 prediction points with 11 wins. So, very good. Very good for your first full year as Scholars of Wrestling, sir. I I I don't have a hat. I tip my head to you. With that being said, the history making stats just keep on coming because for the very first time in Scholars of Wrestling history, we have a tie for Scholar of the Year with
What?
with me and Brian winning with 181 points. Scholar Brian, you and I are Scholar of the Year. We are sharing
Undisputed,
this.
undisputed scholars on top, as we normally are. This time, sharing the goods, and need to let you in on a little trader secret here. We were a hive mind on the last at World's End pay-per-view show. We planned that because we were tied beforehand.
We made sure we
we made
stayed tied.
sure we made sure that we
Oh,
were
you
tied
guys are sneaky.
at the end.
Oh,
And I'm surprised you didn't get it because I said it at the end of the show. It's like, and they're gonna find out about the joke we played on them next week at the Scholly Awards.
Oh, brother.
and
so
everybody
I'll
just
say
kept on,
with our
and
point.
everybody just kept on talking.
So when it comes to the points, I had 165 points, prediction points with 16 wins, and Brian had 166 points with 15 wins. So both of that together, 181 points, and again for the first time ever, co-scholar of the year,
That's
me, the
crazy.
undisputed scholars,
and
just continue
of
to
course,
That's
reign
crazy.
dominance all over you motherfuckers. We have the scholar of the year. We have the scholars of wrestling heavyweight championship. The scholars of wrestling, the undisputed scholars, just continue to dominate the scholars of wrestling. Oh, drink it
and this
in,
is and this
man.
is
Drink
why
it in.
this is why we say you can't predict with your heart because it does things like this. It allows us to stay on top of the mountain, make you all look silly, and we get to do this every year at this show because it's always one of us, and now sometimes both of us at the top of the mountain waiting for someone to actually come up and take it from us. But you always make these from your heart predictions where we just go, oh,
Well, so much for that. So much for you
so
winning
much
the
for that. It's
championship.
got to
So
be
much
one
for
of
you
us.
winning the predictions.
Challenge accepted. Fuck my heart.
Good.
Well, I'll tell
Good.
you this.
It could get you guys actually defeating us for Scholar of the Year.
Well, I'll tell you what. This announcement could not come at a better time because last I checked, we are in January. And you know what that means is that means that the Royal Rumble and the Royal Rumble game is right around the corner and it's anyone's game in that case.
Oh yeah. The slits are now clean. The point we have all starting with 0 points,
Fuck
and now
yeah.
it's time to see, can anyone actually defeat us? Charlie, can you win this and actually join us as undisputed scholar? Jeff, could this be your year to win the Scholar in the Bank Beefcase and Scholar of the Year so you can join us? Pete, let's see. Scholars of Wrestling champion. Have you been party champion? Yes, I believe you have. In order to get that, you need to win Scholar of the Year. You need to win the beef case.
I
You need
have
to
won
win.
the beefcase.
He
Have
did.
you won?
He
Yeah.
has
Yes,
won the beef case.
he won it
Yes.
Oh,
last
you have
year.
won
So
the
he
beef
needs
case.
the Rumble
Okay.
game. He needs the
No,
Rumble
I
game
won
and
the Rumble
Scholar of
game
the
too.
Year.
All
Oh
I need
shit.
is Scholar of the Year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so now the
Ooh.
challenge, is it gonna be
So
Charlie or is it gonna be Pete to
and
join
it's
us
Oh,
as
one of these.
undisputed
wow.
It's
scholar?
one of these things we've been waiting.
We
There's a
see
spot.
we all
There's a
want you to
spot
join
sitting
on
right
top of the
next to us.
mountain with us.
We want you up here with us. You just keep doing things to make it impossible for it to happen. That's why we keep doing this every year. Make fun of you and try to get you to climb up, and then immediately, always immediately, someone goes with their heart and we're like, well,
We
so
we are the final boss for the
we
Scholars of
implore
Wrestling.
we implore you to do the right thing this year. Use your head. Your heart is not a thing this year. You don't have one. Because if
Been
you
That
do,
took
there
a dark
before.
turn.
because if you do have one, we're just gonna be sitting up here next year doing the exact same shit. And let's face it, okay? Tarek and I, it's a little boring. That's
It's
why we
like,
had to spice it up. That's why we had to spice it up at this last pay-per-view and set up a tie so we could have something different.
yeah, we don't want us to just come in and be like, you know what? We're gonna take ourselves out for the prediction points to see who someone new can do it. No, we're not like that. We're not gonna give you guys a little what's it called? A little treat to try and give you. No, you have to earn it. You have to top us in more ways than one.
You're not going to get that lucky this year, I'm sorry to say.
Let's see. Oh, as a certain scholar would say, time will tell. Eh?
Eh,
Eh?
eh, eh,
Eh?
eh.
Pete, you saw what I did there. Huh?
Well,
We want you guys to succeed.
with all of that being said, with all the awards given out and all the trash talk thrown our way, at least for this night, now is the time of the show where we pitch it over to you, our fellow fans. What is your pick for any of our favorites this year, or maybe even the worst? Who do you think is going to take Scholar of the Year for 2026? Whatever you think, let us know all across the internet. Everywhere we are, you are too. YouTube comments, Facebook posts, all that good jazz. And if you want to join the conversation for yourself, check us out at all of our social media links at one little link in the description box below. Just look for our link tree. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling to join in the conversation, support the show, or just throw us some love and just enjoy wrestling with the world. Because that's what we're all about here at the Scholars of Wrestling show. We do this show because despite our criticisms, we love the hell out of this. We love pro wrestling, and we just so happen to know quite a lot about it. Because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you've just been schooled. You're
You're
welcome.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
See you all for the Royal to the Royal Rumble and the rest of the greatness that is 2026.